Hello there, you guys. Welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest transfer news and gossip. Not long now, of course, as we all know, until the transfer window reopens. After tomorrow, the transfer window is officially open, as we all currently know. But before we get into it all, we're just going to go through with the run of fixtures that the games of what playing today. So we've got Crystal Palace, Chelsea at 12 o'clock. Got Burnley, West Ham. You got Southampton, Manchester City, and we've obviously got Manchester United, Bournemouth at 4:30. As I did run through the results with you yesterday, Liverpool won 5-1 at home comfortably to Arsenal. Wolves won away at Tottenham by 3-1. Watford drew with Newcastle 1-all. Cardiff won at Leicester 1-0. Fulham beat Huddersfield at home 1-0. Brighton beat Everton 1-0. So yeah, that was mainly the results yesterday, as I currently said. But anyway, as I said, I think it's going to be Liverpool's league now. They're playing very, very well. Klopp's addressed the deficiencies, in the team. Obviously that signing of Virgil van Dijk, dramatically improved his defensive line. He got a very, very good goalkeeper as well. And Klopp's invested, in the last couple of seasons, as we all know, and they're sitting top of the league. 10 points in front of Manchester City, as we all know, 9 in front of Tottenham, and they've scored 9 goals in 2 games. And Liverpool, I think, all in all this season, they've scored like 48 goals, only conceded 8 of Liverpool in the current process. But they are a very, very good side of Liverpool this season, as we all know, and they are favoured now to win the Premier League, which they haven't done, for 20 years. They've actually never won the Premier League since it got founded in 1992, 1993, and they've got great, great players. They've got a great attacking trio with Salah, for me, best player in the Premier League. They've got Mane, they've got Firmino, they've got Shaqiri. That's been impressive form, and defensively they look very, very good this season. Last season they were poor defensively, but they paid 75 million for Van Dijk, of course, and it's dramatically improved Liverpool defensively, as we all know. Potential, as I did say, it was a game that you didn't expect Liverpool to win by 5-1, but as Arsenal obviously have got a lot of injury problems, as we all know, Emery obviously needs to invest in the January transfer window. Get a couple of signings in, maybe get a defender or two in, maybe get a winner in, because Arsenal have got a lot of injuries in their team, including Mesut Ozil. As we all know, they've got a few players guaranteed to leave as well. But I said, it's only Emery's first season. He needs a couple of transfer windows to address the problems at Arsenal. It's only his first season. They did go on a 22-match unbeaten run, but since then, they have fallen down the pecking order. They've gone. They've gone on a bad run, since that 22-match unbeaten run. Since the Southampton defeat, they have been playing pretty poorly, but they have got good players, they've still got Aubameyang in there, they've still got Lacazette in there. So the attack of they are very, very good. They have got good attacking players, but they need to strengthen their defence up to Arsenal, as we all know. But anyway, we'll get into the latest transfer news, because these teams looking to bolster the squad up in the January transfer window, as I said. So potentially, first news is I'm going to update you on is regarding potentially Solskjaer has come out and he's potentially said that he wants he aims to tie down Martial and David De Gea to new long-term contracts. Now, starting with Martial, and we'll get into the other transfer rumours as we go along. So starting with Antonio Martial, his current representative he actually suggested out he was very pessimistic of him signing a new long-term deal at Manchester United. He actually confirmed that Martial wanted to leave during the course of last summer. Manchester United wanted to leave, but in regards to Martial and De Gea, we have triggered a 1-year option on their current contract, so we have triggered a further 12 months on both their contracts. As yet, both players have not committed their future, as we all know, but Martial has not committed his future yet. I think Man United have been in discussions of signing him a new long-term contract at the club, but as yet, there has been no sign of that happening. But he's without a doubt being our best outfield player this season. He's strong, he's quick, he's good in the air, and I think he'll grow and develop fantastically well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he's without doubt being our best outfield player this season. When he has been fully fit, Anthony Martial, you can put him on the left, you can put him through the middle, as we all know, as well. You've got David De Gea, as we all know. Solskjaer's keen on getting him a new long-term contract at the club. As we all know, he has not suggested out his future yet, David De Gea. But as I said, we have extended his contract by a further 12 months, as we did do. We know that teams have been interested. Well, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him in 2015, but they didn't. But we know that potentially Juventus have been interested in him. Paris Saint-Germain have also been interested in him as well. But potentially, I think when Jose Mourinho was here, he said David De Gea was keen on staying at the club. He said he loves Manchester United, loves David David De Gea. But as we know, Man United have been in talks of securing him a new deal at the club, a new long-term deal. But as I said, it hasn't, in the process, hasn't really committed his future yet. As we all know, he currently represents Jorge Mendes, does David De Gea. But as I did say, Man United have been in talks of trying to secure him a new deal, David De Gea. The keeper who's actually made over 300 appearances in all competitions, won some Matt Busby Player of the Year quite a few times, won Clubs Player of the Year 4 out of 5 seasons, as we all know. He has been here since 2011 as David De Gea, as we all know. Great keeper, potentially the best one in the world. We paid about £17 million for him in 2011 under Sir Alex Ferguson. He's won everything here, of course, apart from the Champions League, as David De Gea. Martial and everything here, of course, apart from the Premier League and the Champions League, as we all know. If De Gea was to sign a new deal, it probably would be worth. It probably had to be worth up to around £400,000 a week for him to sign a new deal. But obviously now we've got Solskjaer in. Obviously Solskjaer may get them to sign new long-term deals at Manchester United. But as I said, David De Gea, he was at Atletico Madrid, wasn't he? He's highly experienced. He'd been playing in Spain when he was younger, in his prime. He actually began his career at 13. He actually won the Europa League and Super Cup with Atletico Madrid, did David De Gea. But I think he loves Manchester United. But as I said, there has been no signs of him signing a new contract, new long-term contract. So they've not really said much about the future, as we all currently know. But as I said, as I did update you yesterday, that reportedly Man United have showed an interest in Real Madrid's Isco, that I'm going to update you with as well. Reportedly, Man United have showed an interest in Isco. He's a great attacking midfielder, got a lot of tenacity, parties play very strong, quick, very, very good in the air. Is Isco as well. Potentially, I think he's grown fed up of life under Santiago Solari at Real Madrid, and he actually does want to make the move, does Isco, because he's frustrated under Santiago Solari. The player reportedly has a £600 million release clause. He's under contract at Real Madrid till 2022. He has represented Spain various youth levels, but he's been a full international since 2013 as the current player. But as I said, there's been a few teams monitoring an interest. Reportedly, Man United are going to hold discussions, or have held discussions, with his current representative about him making a move to Old Trafford. But he's obviously got a fit father that actually acts like his agent as well. And potentially, there's been a few other teams that have been monitoring and interested in him. Chelsea have been mentioned, Juventus have been mentioned, Barcelona have been mentioned, and Paris Saint-Germain have also been mentioned as well. But potentially, Isco, he's a very, very good player. He's strong, he's quick on the ball. I think he'd look good alongside, Paul Pogba, if you put Isco in our midfield, to be quite honest with you. He's been at Real Madrid since 2013, including he's won 4 Champions League, so his performances over the years at Madrid have been very, very good. He used to play under Manuel Pellegrini, as we all know, at Malaga. He obviously began his career with Valencia as well, mainly played in the Valencia reserve team, did the player. But Real Madrid paid, £30 million for him from Malaga. But he's a great creative midfielder, got a lot of tenacity about his play. His passing's very, very good as well. His link up play is very, very good. And, I think he'd look good in our midfield, alongside Paul Pogba. But reportedly, Man United have inquired an interest in Isco as well. But it's also mentioned that Chelsea and that have, of course, been interested in him as well. But as I said, whether you get any signings in this upcoming January transfer window or not, I do not know. Solskjaer's actually been discussing the expectations of the Manchester United players. Solskjaer's been discussing about the expectations of the Manchester United players, both on and off the pitch, as we all currently know. I think he understands the philosophy very, very, very well. I think Solskjaer knows what he's doing. He knows the culture of the club. He knows the traditions of the club. As I said, he knows the club inside out. He works with some of these players in the reserve team as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he has admitted he would like the job on a full-time basis with Solskjaer. So far, 2 wins out of 2 for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 8 goals scored, and players playing very, very well, getting full-backs out of the pitch, getting bodies in decent positions, scoring goals, creating chances, looking very, very precise on the ball, quick movement, playing at a fast tempo, which we want to see, and that's the attacking football that we have seen so far, that we used to see under Sir Alex Ferguson, as we all currently know. Whether he gets a job on a full-time basis or not, I do not know. He may get the job on a full-time basis, depending how he progresses in this 6 months. Obviously, Ed Woodward is backing in for this upcoming January transfer window, as we all know. But he has laid the laws down, potentially going into this Bournemouth game, because he said basically Lukaku and Sanchez have got to do it on the pitch themselves. He wants Lukaku and Sanchez to prove themselves, but he has laid the laws down. But it's positively how he's laid the laws down, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Lukaku and Sanchez have got a chance to prove themselves. Sanchez reportedly said he could return today for the Manchester United Bournemouth game, but if not, he will definitely be featuring against Newcastle, as we all know, which is on the 2nd of January. But as I said, Lukaku really hasn't proven himself. He struggled for consistency this season. He hasn't been in great form, as we all know, as Lukaku, because he was injured early on this season, and he scored 27 goals in his first season. We know that Lukaku is obviously Premier League proven, as we all know, but as I said, his first touch concerns me. Big game bottler. And as I said, I just don't see how he fits in the team, Romelu Lukaku, as we all know. But potentially he might, get better. He might prove himself under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Same with Alexis Sanchez. I think he may prove himself under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But, they will get the chance, Sanchez and Lukaku, to obviously prove themselves, to be proven consistent, as we all know. But as I said, Sanchez, he's been injured for a long time. He's set to return today, but if not today, it will be against Newcastle. But I don't see how Lukaku fits in the team, because you've got Lingard there with great pace. You've got who can press high up the pitch. You've got a lot of tenacity about his play, can create chances. You've got that with Rashford. You've got that with Martial. And Lukaku doesn't potentially have any of that, and he hasn't been scoring goals this season, as we all know. So he hasn't been delivering the goods, as we all know. But as I said, Solskjaer's confirmed. Everyone's going to get the chance. He was discussing about rotating, but also the youngsters are going to get the chance as well, which is very, very good to see. But he has the winning mentality at this club. He knows about the club. The right mentality is in the team, which is very, very good to see as well. So it'd be interesting to see how he lines up today. We know Smalling and Portley's still out, Rojo's still out, and Scott McTominay's out as well. It still actually says on my app Sanchez is injured. But his fitness regime's been looking very, very good indeed. I've said for Bournemouth, they've got injury problems. They've got Simon Francis out. They've got Simon Francis out. I think he's out till next September. Simon Francis, Lewis Cook's out. Daniel Gosling's out. Adam Smith's out as well. So Bournemouth have got quite a few injury problems as well. But I think Manchester United will win this comfortably, to be quite honest with you. There's too much quality and potential in the team, as I said. So I think we'll win this comfortably. But as I said, Solskjaer's going to give Fred more game time, to get him playing to his potential level. I think Bailly's going to get more game time. He hasn't had much game time this season, but he's got a lot of potential. Bailly, I think Mata's going to get more starts from the start. Andres Pereira, I think he's going to get more. He's going to start more. I think he's going to get more game time, but because Andres Pereira has been frustrated with the lack of game time he has been getting, but he may get this under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he hasn't signed a new deal. I think he refused the last offer. Did Andres Pereira, as we all know. But I think he'll get more game time under Solskjaer. I think the youngsters will flourish under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to be quite honest with you. But as I said, regarding Martial, there's been no sign of him as yet signing a new long-term deal. Man United actually did offer him a deal, but reportedly Martial had actually turned the new deal offer down. So his current representative said he was very, very pessimistic of him signing a new long-term deal at Manchester United. But we know he's under contract until 2020. So too is David De Gea, because we activated that clause to extend the contracts until for a further year, as we all know. But I think somewhere along the line, Solskjaer will convince them to sign new long-term deals at Manchester United, as we all know. But as I said, I just think there's a few players at Manchester United that probably may still not have a future. I don't see how Fellaini fits in this new Manchester United regime, to be quite honest with you. We've had him since 2013 at the club, as we all know, but I don't see how he fits in this new Manchester United regime, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Jose Mourinho used him as a plan B, as we all know. He's slow and he's static in that midfield, as we all know. So I don't really see now how he's going to fit in the team, Marian Fellaini. He could. I don't think he's got a long future now at Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. I know we've had him since 2013. He was one of David Moyes' signings, as we all know. Very average player, very slow. Just like Matic, he's very, very slow. And I've got reservations about him. But to be fair to Matic, he's stepped it up in these 2 games. He's played very, very well. He's obviously scored against Huddersfield Town as well. So I think Matic has played very, very well, in these 2 games. But he is slow. He doesn't have much tempo to his play, but he can pass the ball, can Nemanja Matic, as we all know. But I think Pogba's been in great, great form. A lot of trustworthy in him now. I think if we would have kept Mourinho, that he would have left in January. But as I said, the players are happy playing under Solskjaer. The fans are very, very happy as well. And he's brought positivity back to the club. And I think Paul Pogba, great, great player. When he's playing to his potential best, as he has shown under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's a player on at least 12 to 15 goals a season. And he's like 2 players in one when he's potentially in great, great form, whether he's in, a free role or he's in the midfield, if he's playing alongside or he's in a free role. I think when he's actually at that best, he's on 12 to 15 goals a season. He's Paul Pogba, but we did pay £89 million for him. But in the last 2 games, he's been providing, he's been creating, he's been scoring goals himself. Which is very, very good to see, which we didn't see Paul Pogba do under Jose Mourinho. But he's fast, his movement's very, very good. He gets involved, his link-up play can be good as well. Pogba's lead. But if you were to put Isco alongside Pogba, what a midfield, that would be, 2 midfielders with great pace, great potential, good at passing the ball, movement very, very good, tempo very, very good, a lot of tenacity about the play. Isco would be fantastic. But as I said, reportedly he's out of favour now under Santiago Solari. And potentially he does want to make the move because from the player's perspective, Isco has admitted he wants to make the move. I would get Fellaini out because I don't see that he has a future at the club. Matic, I did say get him out, but I think he's proven it. I think if he carries on proving himself under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Matic may stay and he might become a better player. As I said, we have reservations about him. I think he needs to adapt a lot of areas of his game still, doesn't Nemanja Matic? Like he needs to get pacey, he needs to be quicker. His passing's good, so I'll give him that. He needs to have some tempo to his play, doesn't Nemanja Matic? He's very, very static, to be quite fair. But will he improve this under the management of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? And as I said, Solskjaer knows about the club because he was a great, great player from 1996 to 2007. Was a player, great, great player. Scored 126 goals in 366 appearances, as we all know. So he was a great, great player. He managed in the reserve team for a couple of years as well. And, he's had a bit of managerial experience, with Cardiff. He Cardiff relegated, of course. He didn't have a good managerial tenure with Cardiff. He obviously won 2 Norwegian titles with Molde as well. So depending how he progresses, he may get the job on a full-time basis, he may not. I think he'll probably end up going back to Molde at the end of the season. Or if he does actually get in the top 4 of Manchester United, and we do get the top 4, I know we're sitting, is it 8 points, something now, behind top 4, potentially. If we do get top 4, he may get the top, or he may get offered another job in the Premier League, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I said. But the players have expressed themselves at the moment. This is what Solskjaer demanded them to do, and they have done it very, very well. And they have done it very, very well, as I currently said. But as I said, Manchester United have got a few potential targets, for this upcoming window. The few targets that were being interesting is Napoli's Koulibaly, Tottenham's Toby Alderweireld, as I said. Regarding Koulibaly, reportedly, it did say from the press that reportedly they've lowered their asking price for Koulibaly of Napoli. He actually suffered some racial abuse, did Koulibaly, as we all know. He suffered some racial abuse. I don't know if this was all to do with reportedly, allegedly, Napoli dropping their asking price for Koulibaly. But as I said, he would be a great, great player for us. He adapts every area of his game very, very well. He's never played in the Premier League, so it will be a brand new area for him. He'd be playing amongst different players, as we all know. But I think he'd be a good leader in our black line. And I'm a big, big fan of Koulibaly because he's a very, very good player. Has very little weaknesses. I don't think he's got any weaknesses about his game. He's under contract with Napoli till 2023. He's been a full international since 2015. Of course, he's a Senegal international. Ed Woodward has actually been in discussions with the Napoli officials about Manchester United getting a deal over the line. In the process, Manchester United have had 3 bids turned down. The latest one was reported was £95 million. Napoli rate him at around 90 million. We had 2 previous bids rejected before the 95 million, but Reportedly, Napoli have lowered their asking price. Man United have been in discussions, and I think complement our defence very, very well. If you put him alongside Bailly, he'd look good. If you put him alongside Lindelof, he'd look good. And Lindelof's improved this season, to be quite fair. You know, when he has been fully match fit, and you know we've got other options. We've got other options at the back. You've got Phil Jones there when he gets them run a game. He's very, very good. We know that he's injury prone and he's known for injuries. Rojo's there as a good backup option. We know he's injured at the moment, but Rojo can play as left wing back. Whether he has a future at Manchester United or not, I do not know, but I think he does because he's good there as a backup. You can play him as a left wing back, you can play him as a full back, and you can play him as a central defender. As I said, we've got Chris Smalling there as well. Earlier on in the season, it was mainly him and Lindelof playing as a centre back partnership, but we're not in any rush for any permanent deals in January. But as I said, he would be a great signing, Wood Koulibaly, as we all know, and Napoli only paid £7 million for him from Genk. He's 27 years of age, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, and he would be a big major signing, as we all know, would Koulibaly from Napoli. Napoli president confirmed that Man United in the process put this £95 million bid in, but you know, especially we haven't been getting as number one targets for a while, you know, especially under Mourinho, who was getting as second, third choice targets, you know, that we, you know, didn't want, but we ended up getting as like a second, third choice targets. So we wasn't getting as major priority targets, wasn't getting as number one targets, as we all know. So potentially whether we get anyone in January or not, I do not know. But as I said, Toby Alderweireld, 25 million release clause for next summer. You know, he can be a world-class central defender. Of course, Manchester United have been linked with Tottenham's Toby Alderweireld as well. I said I have reservations about him. I think he needs to adjust his game more. I think he's lost the pace a little bit, Toby Alderweireld, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But he's Premier League proven. He knows the Premier League. He plays amongst good players at Tottenham. Tottenham have got a very, very good squad. Even though they did lose to Wolves at home, you know, they've still got a very, very good squad. And they're still up there, as we all know. And Pochettino, of course, is good at developing young players. But Tottenham still have other options at the back with Davinson Sanchez and Vertonghen and Serge Aurier. Not they've still got other options. You know, if Toby Alderweireld was to leave Tottenham, there's been no sign of him signing a new contract with Tottenham. Man United were actually in discussions last summer of obviously getting a deal over the line for Tottenham's Toby Alderweireld, as we all know. But as I said, he's proven in the Premier League. I think he'd be a good leader in our back line. But as I said, Tottenham have triggered that extension till 2020. That means they're gonna add the 25 million release clause for next summer. So that's how much potentially he will be available for next summer. Toby Alderweireld. But yeah, I think he's a very, very good player. You know, he can prove to be a world-class central defender, as we all know. And as I said, you know, I do have reservations about him. You know, he's been in the Premier League quite a lot of years now. You know, obviously he's an ex-Ajax player. You know, he won 3 titles with Ajax as a youngster. Alderweireld, he won, obviously, the title with Atletico Madrid when he was younger in his prime as now. But his prime as well, but he's now 29 years of age, and I think he'd look good in our back line alongside like Lindelof and Eric Bailly with Toby Alderweireld. So there have been 2 potential Manchester United targets. The latest one has been mentioned as Isco, as I've already updated you on, guys. So potentially we'll get into a bit more rumours, as I have been keeping an update on with you guys. Potentially, we'll give you a bit of Chelsea's news, give you a bit of Liverpool's news, and give you a bit of Arsenal's news, as we all know, because we'll start with Chelsea's. Reportedly, Chelsea, it did say in the press, according to the German press, that reportedly Chelsea have reportedly agreed around, well, they've agreed personal terms with Borussia Dortmund, reportedly, because Chelsea have been in negotiations with Borussia Dortmund about this, as we all know. Reportedly, according to the German press, that Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund had come to an agreement, and Chelsea had reportedly agreed around a 45 million summer transfer for Christian Pulisic next summer, because I think he's keen on the move to the Premier League. He's never played in the Premier League, but it won't be until the summer. It will be officially confirmed next summer, reportedly, because Borussia Dortmund director and the Borussia Dortmund have actually confirmed they're not willing to do any business in January, because Borussia Dortmund want to keep him until the end of the season, reportedly. We know that recently Arsenal reportedly have just had a £35 million bid turned down for the player as well. But he isn't first choice now at Borussia Dortmund, but he has grown and developed very, very well. He's progressing through he's progressed through the ranks, as we all know. He's progressed through the ranks, and potentially he's been in the senior team with Borussia Dortmund since 2016. Of course, the player is American, and he's a good young-age prospect. He can create chances, he can score goals, as well can Christian Pulisic. And you know, as I said, you know, he's out of favour now at Borussia Dortmund, as we all know. He's mainly a winger. You know, he can putting him you can put him in an attacking midfield position as well. Christian Pulisic, he's under contract till 2020 with Dortmund. There's been no sign of him signing a new contract with Borussia Dortmund, Christian Pulisic, but he's been potentially Chelsea's target because Chelsea, for me, need a centre forward in the January transfer window because obviously they've got Morata, who looks like he's going to leave. They've got Callum Hudson. He's not getting the game time that he wants at Chelsea, and he's only 18, but there's been no sign of him signing a new contract. You've got Giroud, who's not been getting the game time recently as well with Chelsea. So mainly, recently, Xavi has just been putting Eden Hazard up front as well, and obviously he hasn't fully committed his future yet with Chelsea, as we all know, and I think he's going to make the decision at the end of the season because we know that he's been linked with Real Madrid as well. So Chelsea could see quite a few of their players leave, so obviously they've got a few potential targets on their radar, and Christian Pulisic is one of them. They would want to see Christian Pulisic as an identical replacement for Eden Hazard because Chelsea want Eden Hazard to stay. They want him to sign a new contract, but there has been no sign as yet of him signing a new contract because he hasn't fully committed his future. But as I said, Christian Pulisic, it would be a good sign for Chelsea. I think he complements Chelsea's team very, very well, the young player. But also Liverpool have still been interested in him, as we all know, because Klopp's worked for him in the past. Klopp is keen on a reunion with the player. Klopp was very, very good at Borussia Dortmund, as we all know. And he's got that managerial experience of winning titles. He won a couple with Borussia Dortmund. I think this season he's going to definitely do it with Liverpool with that team he's got, the money he's invested in the last couple of seasons. I think he spent like 400 million in 6 transfer windows as Jurgen Klopp. But as I said, they've been interested in Christian Pulisic as well. He's rated at around 50, where is the player. That's what he's rated at around it. But Borussia Dortmund are obviously in the market for a replacement for Christian Pulisic. But as I was saying about Chelsea, reportedly they've shown an interest in Gonzalo Higuain, as I've updated you in my last couple of videos. But there's been talks about, obviously, Gonzalo Higuain and Alvaro Morata as a swap deal. But potentially, according to AC Milan, the actual AC Milan director reportedly has confirmed that Chelsea have not made an official initial approach yet. They've not made an offer for Gonzalo Higuain. The AC Milan director has actually confirmed this. They've not made an offer or a full-on approach for the player yet, but Chelsea have been keen on him because he's a prolific goal scorer. He can lead the lines. He's strong. He's quick. He's got a lot of tenacity about his play. He's very, very clinical. He's finishing. He's very, very good. He's Gonzalo Higuain as well. He is 31 years of age now. He's Gonzalo Higuain. As we all know, he's obviously at AC Milan on loan. AC Milan paid £16-17 million to get him on loan. I think AC Milan do actually have the option to permanently buy him for around, I think it's around £30 million. But as I said, Chelsea are keen on getting the player. Sarri's had experience of working with him in the past at Napoli. I think Sarri worked with him at one season, at Napoli, because actually the player wasn't, when he was younger in his prime, Gonzalo Higuain, he was at Napoli for 3 years. He scored loads of goals, scored 36 goals in one season. That was very, very impressive. And also, when he was a lot younger in his prime, he had 6 good years with Real Madrid. Obviously, he's been at Juventus. Obviously, AC Milan got him on loan from Juventus, as we all know. So Chelsea have held negotiations with both Juventus and AC Milan over this. Juventus did pay around, was it 80-odd million pounds for him or something like that? It was estimated at around that or something like that. But as I said, he's South American, as I said, and he's won honours as well, and he's proven to be a good goal scorer. So he is a prolific goal scorer. He's Gonzalo Higuain, as we all know. But as I said, Chelsea have been monitoring an interest because Morata's out of favour at Chelsea. He's no longer Sarri's number one choice, as we all know. He's fallen down the pecking order as Alvaro Morata. He hasn't really established himself or proven himself, since he's come to the Premier League. But as I said, Chelsea did pay £60 million for him. But Alvaro Morata, he's a very, very good player, Alvaro Morata. When he is on that form, he can lead the lines. You can put him on the wing. He can score goals. He's good in the air. He's got a pace to his game as Alvaro Morata, but he hasn't really done it at Chelsea, especially, since Sarri's been recommended into the job. He hasn't really proven himself, Alvaro Morata, and obviously he's no longer first choice, so potentially he's going to become frustrated about this. He's Alvaro Morata. Of course, he's going to become very, very frustrated about this. So, potentially, I think he's keen on the move to AC Milan. He's Alvaro Morata, so he could potentially be leaving. But most of his playing career has actually been at Real Madrid, where he's won honours and that, and he did very, very well for Real Madrid. He fit into the Real Madrid team very, very well. He had a 2-year spell with Juventus, of course, as well, did Morata. But I think he will be leaving because he's obviously not, he's not number one choice now with Chelsea, and obviously Olivier Giroud hasn't been number one choice lately. He's been mainly putting Eden Hazard up front as Sarri, as we all currently know. But yeah, that's where basically what I said. But they've also been linked with Real Madrid's Isco of Chelsea as well. So we'll give you a bit of an update on Arsenal's transfer news, as I was updating you guys yesterday on that. Well, I think there's a few teams interested. Adrien Rabiot is the latest name to be mentioned. Reported that Arsenal have showed an interest in him. I think Chelsea have showed an interest in him. Liverpool could re-show the interest in Adrien Rabiot, the current PSG central midfielder. He's supposed to be a very, very good midfielder. He's still like young in his prime. He's the PSG midfielder. There's been no signs of him signing a new contract with Paris Saint-Germain, the midfielder, because PSG have been in negotiations. But reportedly, there has been no signs of him signing a new contract. He is available on a free transfer next summer. But reportedly, it said allegedly that Barcelona had agreed to get Adrien Rabiot on a free transfer next summer. But potentially, according to PSG's perspective, they'd rather cash in for the player in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. The reports coming out yesterday that Barcelona were reportedly willing to offer him a 5-year deal plus around 60 million euros or something like that for the January transfer window, because PSG actually want to cash in on him. Reportedly, he has been banned from the PSG changing room as well as Adrien Rabiot. But obviously, he's never played in the Premier League. Well, he actually played in the Manchester City. He played in his youth career. He actually played for Manchester City, so potentially he's had a bit of experience there. But more than all, really, the player he's been at PSG for the majority of his career, as we all know. He risen up the ranks for them, was in the reserve team, and then he's been, he made his senior debut in 2012 with Paris Saint-Germain. He's been mainly PSG throughout his career. With PSG, he has won 16 major honours, including 4 Liga 1s and a treble. I think that was back in 2015-16. At France, at the youth international level with France, he captained 53 times. He's been a full international since 2016 as Adrien Rabiot as well. But reportedly, he's supposed to be a very, very good player, as we all know. Yeah, he's supposed to be a very, very good player. He's Adrien Rabiot. I think he's made about 148 appearances for Paris Saint-Germain. He has been in the team, the senior team, since 2012. So he has really grown and developed very, very well. And, he plays alongside good players like Mbappe, Neymar, and all that. Obviously, what PSG invested a lot of money on. So potentially Adrien Rabiot could actually be leaving Paris Saint-Germain. But he could be leaving in January because PSG actually want to cash in on the player, as we all know. But there has been Liverpool interested in him, Arsenal have been interested in him, Chelsea have been interested in him as well. But as I said, we'll go for a bit of the Arsenal's rumours. As I did say, they've got a few potential targets. They've got a few injury problems. As I said, Ozil's future obviously is uncertain with Arsenal. As we all know, his future is uncertain. A few teams have been interested. Obviously, he's injured now, so reportedly he could be out for a long time. Arsenal have obviously got other injury concerns as well. To Rob Holding out for the season. I think Bellerin's out, Mustafi's out. They've got so many players out. Welbeck's obviously out as well. And obviously they've got a few players that are guaranteed to leave next summer. You've got Aaron Ramsey there. He's reportedly said Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus have been interested in him. Reportedly it says Paris Saint-Germain have held negotiations over this. Aaron Ramsey's obviously been at Arsenal since 2008. So he has been there about 10 years, or is it just over 10 years, Aaron Ramsey? But reportedly, it did say PSG willing to offer him £20 million plus 18 month contract term as well, because reportedly Arsenal have blatantly told him that he's not getting a new contract, as we all currently know. So Aaron Ramsey is actually going to be set to leave Arsenal, so they'll have to find replacements. I think they're looking to bolster their defence up because they got 5 players last summer, did Arsenal. I think Umremre hasn't been given the right funds. He hasn't been backed enough, as we all know. But as I said, he'll need to make reinvestments in January for Arsenal because they do have problems. They do need to invest. They do need to make reinforcements, as we all know. Welbeck's definitely set to leave them, as we all know. But they've had a few potential targets, as we all know. They're potentially being interested in this Ever Benga. Ever Benga, as I said, he's a Sevilla player, as I've been updating you. Reportedly, his current representative has been in London to negotiate about him potentially making a move to Arsenal, because Arsenal have been linked with him. Obviously, Umremre's had experience of working with him, so Umremre would be keen on reuniting with the player. Yeah, reportedly has around an 18 million release clause. This is the actual player's second spell. So Sevilla won 2 Europa Leagues with them. This is his second spell because he had the season with Inter Milan. Obviously, before he went to Sevilla, he had loan deals with Newell's Old Boys and Atletico Madrid, and he was at Valencia a lot of years. When he was a lot younger when he was a lot younger in prime for a lot of years. I'm doing memory, won the Copa del Rey, played in 162 games, as we all know, and he actually began his career with Boca Juniors, where he risen up the ranks and progressed through the ranks as well as the player. He is a attacking midfielder, as we all know, but reportedly Arsenal have been heavily linked with him. Negotiations have been going on. It's Ever Benga or something like that. I can't really fully pronounce his name. Can't really fully pronounce his name, but as I currently said, guys, Ever Benga, that's his current name. As I said, they've also been interested in Nicolas Pepe, rated at around £72 million. Reportedly, his performances for Lille have been very impressive indeed. He signed a 5-year deal last year, back in 2017, so I think he'll still have like 4 years left on his deal. Arsenal have also been keen on him as well. He's a winger, he's Ivory Coast, he's been a full international since 2016, so he's Ivory Coastan, as we all know. They've also been interested in Christian Pavon, as well as Arsenal. He's another potential player. 40 million release clause I think he's got in his current contract, the youngster. So yeah, Arsenal have been interested in him. But Arsenal do need reinforcements in January. Who else have they been interested? They've been interested in quite a few players of Arsenal, to be quite honest with you. I think that there were talks about Isco and Ozil as a potential swap deal the other week. But there's been talks that they've been interested in Barcelona's Ousmane Dembele as well. Ousmane Dembele, as I said, is a very good player. Is Ousmane Dembele, good player. He hasn't had the minutes under his belt at Barcelona that I would have liked. He's had a few injury problems since he's been at Barcelona as well, but he can prove to be a very good player, especially in his first season with Barcelona. He was injured and all that, and he won the Copa del Rey and La Liga in his first season. Barcelona paid an initial €106 million for him, obviously from Borussia Dortmund, and I think he's a good player. He's 21. You can put him on the wing. You can put him up front. He has a good relationship with Aubameyang and Lacazette, obviously, who play for Arsenal. And they are two good players. Attackingly, Arsenal are very good, but they just need to address their problems up defensively. I think they probably need a winger in there as well, because obviously Mkhitaryan's out now with a broken foot, reportedly. And Iwobi can have a good game. I thought he played well for Arsenal yesterday. What I watched the game, I thought Iwobi did actually put a good performance in for them. But as I currently said, yeah, so they do actually need reinforcements. But saying about Ousmane Dembele, yeah, so potentially I don't think Barcelona would be willing to do any business in January anyway. I think if they were willing to do any business, they'd obviously let him go next summer probably. But it would probably cost around £100 million to get Ousmane Dembele. Obviously, he was at Rennes as a youngster as well, was a player. But he's only 21 years of age, so he has got a lot of years ahead of him. Of course, he's never played in the Premier League, Ousmane Dembele. But whether Ozil goes or whether he stays or not, I do not know. His future's still uncertain, but now reportedly he's injured. He was injured early on in the season as well, and he's been struggling with consistency in form. He's been struggling to really get games under his belt like I would like. As I said, he has missed quite a lot of key games for Arsenal this season, as Mesut Ozil, but he hasn't really adapted himself under to be quite honest with you. He hasn't really done it. He had a good start to the season, but he's had problems this season, as Mesut Ozil, as we all know. He signed a new contract worth £300,000 a week last year, as we all know, did Mesut Ozil. So whether he goes or stays or not, I do not know, but Arsenal obviously will be identifying replacements, as we all currently know. So yeah, it's hotting up now. It's the transfer rumours, as we all know. And players will be making signs in January. Players will be leaving as well. So it's very interesting in the January window, as I said. But yeah, we'll be back with another live video very soon to update you on, as I said. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, guys. And that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon, guys.